All right guys, welcome to another video. This isn't going to be the intro for the video because I'm terrible at doing actual intros when I do these vlogs. I'm trying to get better. My storytelling, video editing skills aren't what they used to be, but I'm going to try to get a little bit better at doing that. But for the sake of this video, this is the intro. This is going to be a really cool vlog. I take you guys behind the scenes of really how our process works. I show you guys how we're building out a new welcome booklet for Nutre, the first one that you get when you get your first order of Nutre, that little packet that you get that explains exactly how Nutre works and what to expect. It's a hugely important thing that I think a lot of businesses don't take a lot of time and effort to actually make perfect, because this goes out to thousands and thousands of people, hopefully for years. Then I show you guys a little bit behind the scenes of a meeting that we had with our new CFO team. We hired our CFO, a fractional CFO agency this past year. They're awesome. If you have not hired a CFO and you're an e-commerce business and in a business doing, a decent amount of revenue, hire either a fractional CFO if you don't need a full-time one, or hire, of course, a full-time one if you need it. The key tip I didn't mention in the video is make sure you hire a CFO team that is a great operator as well. They have to understand the business. Don't just hire somebody that's good at numbers. They really need to understand e-commerce or whatever industry you're in to properly manage the financials. It's a huge, huge tip. And at the end, I give you guys literally the sauce and the blueprint of everything you need to know about influencer whitelisting and influencer marketing as a whole, but specifically influencer whitelisting and partnership ads. When you're a bootstrap brand, or if you're a brand that just doesn't have a ton of money to blow, we have a unique strategy that's worked really well for us, considering that we're East Coast based, we don't cover the entire country, and that we're bootstrapped and we just don't have a ton of money to spend. So this is a really, really great vlog if you're an operator. I hope you guys get a ton of value out of it, so enjoy. All right, so right now we're in a meeting with Jake. Jake, say what up to the vlog. Jake is our graphic designer. We're actually going over our welcome brochure right now for Nutre. Since we did the entire rebrand, like we had to do redo the graphics and all that stuff. So Jake and Vinny, who's late because he's grabbing some food.
I'm actually printing something.
What do you got?
It didn't print.
Well, I mean,
but this is chicken caprese, balsamic. I ate the mozzarella. Juice you want to smell? Okay, that's about it.
Steve Jobs literally would go to the bathroom and dip his bare feet in the toilet.
How can we translate Steve Jobs into this welcome booklet?
Yeah, I mean, low key, if there's anybody that knows an unboxing experience, it's Steve Jobs.
Alright, Kosta, go dip your feet in the toilet.
I think we should all dip our feet in the toilet and channel our inner Steve Jobs. Vinny was making a good point before with this company right here, and I've kind of noticed the same thing as well, and that is because we redid our welcome emails series as well. Like when you first sign up for Nutre, it's a post-purchase email flow. So once you buy Nutre, the email flow that you get after that, we redid that. And one thing I'm noticing right now, it's not enough data to kind of realize, to know if this is actually true or not. But it seems like a lot of people, our cancel rate from those emails is getting up a little bit higher. And one thing I've noticed is what we've changed for that is we're sending more emails because we're doing your first day with Nutre, your second day with Nutre, your third day with Nutre. We're doing a lot more educational emails as part of that post-purchase email flow. But the thing is, with any sort of email, you want to send the least amount of emails possible to your existing customers if you're on a subscription-based business, because the more emails you send is a reminder for them to cancel. And there's different things, some people are well, if the emails are good, then people respect it and they like it and they can't wait for the emails. But the overwhelming majority is the data shows that the more emails you send, the higher the cancels are, and it's okay, well, these people are going to cancel regardless. Maybe are the people that are opening these emails and enjoying them going to stay on longer because you're sending them? That's one of the things where it's kind of tough to make a decision on. You just have to look at the data and you kind of just have to trust your intuition.
I think I have a good comparison.
What?
So it's like talking to a girl at the bar, kind of, right? Once you talk to her and you buy her a drink, that's it. You're good. You got to stop talking, because if you give her more of a reason to not like you, then she's not gonna like you anymore.
Okay, that's your log. How's that working out for you?
Pretty good.
You two are the bar flies, so.
I don't go to bars.
You go to the bars. All right, Vinny gave
Kosta's a retired bar goer.
I no longer. I don't drink, bro. I drink I-Mate and water.
Huh?
Isn't
that a vitamin?
Yeah. It's like a athletic greens type of it's essentially all the vitamins you need in one fucking packet.
Because they go together. To get to 100 million in revenue, because that's the target that we have in mind.
Yeah.
To get to 100 million in revenue, what does that look like within the markets that we're looking to stay in?
Okay.
And what is the shipping price? And we'll explain to you what our logistical model is. Our delivery model is.
It also matters too, as I say before, the offers that they're getting. That's why I haven't been doing like, you know, AOV and LTV per channel necessarily. I do consider like the CAC per channel and stuff like that, but it also matters what channel they came in, Facebook, what offer did they get at Google if they came in there. So it's a mix of seeing the state and as well as like the shipping method, the state, the CAC, where they came in from, what they got, and all that stuff that offer that impacts it too. But I think any like directional read would be nice too, because you could drill down.
I could
after
put this
that.
on Madness now.
But like Texas could be getting, you know, this offer, or like Florida, there's no influencers and stuff like that. So
give me the zip codes on the Madness.
we have to take into account that stuff too, which I think we can once we have that.
Yeah, I think let's build something that's maybe 70% there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if we try to go like 100%, we're never gonna get it done. I think we build something, we try to get 70%, and then we all agree to it, and then we can add to it.
Yeah, 100%. All right, as I talked about before in the other video, I'm gonna be trying to do more whiteboarding content because I don't know, it's easier for me to map out things for you guys. So in this video, the theme of the vlog that we're talking about a lot is influencer marketing and the way that we think about influencers and affiliates as well. So I'm gonna just do a quick whiteboard session with you guys and show you the way that we think about working with influencers and celebrities and people like that, because you know, our approach for doing this is, I think we have a unique approach because us being a bootstrap brand, we have to take a little bit of a different approach than other brands. And the reason being that is I'm gonna explain right here is two main bottlenecks for us is one, that we're bootstrapped, and two is we are not nationwide. So now I'm just write influencer so you guys can see influencer marketing. My beautiful handwriting, influencer marketing. Two of the main bottlenecks for us is, and they're not necessarily bottlenecks, you would argue. Sometimes it's, you know, these can be, you know, pros for the company. One, that we're bootstrapped, we haven't taken any venture money, so we have a different approach to, you know, spending our money on marketing. Like, we just don't have money to blow. We have to be a lot more lean with the way that we're, you know, spending things, and we have to make sure that we're getting a clear ROI. Otherwise, like, we just can't afford just to like to do things that like we don't know if it's going to work or not, and it's not measurable because it's just tough. We are doing branding stuff, and now that we've scaled, you know, past like the $25 million mark this year, hopefully we get close to $40 million. The way that we think about branding and direct response is a little bit different. We're doing a lot more brand events. That's why if you follow us on Instagram, you see us. We're doing a lot more events at gyms, or, you know, run stuff or marathons and all this stuff that isn't necessarily like a direct response channel, but it's more brand, and that's what you really have to do. Once you get to this revenue mark, it's not all about direct response. Still, it's a huge portion of it, but you kind of have to expand in brand. And then as you do more brand marketing, the direct response works better, and vice versa. So one of the key things for us, again, is we're bootstrapped, so we have to be, you know, cautious of the way that we spend, and that we're not nationwide. So I'm saying that, and that's a big thing because, you know, a lot of brands are nationwide or even worldwide, so their strategy is different than ours. And the reason being is, let's just say that we do a deal with a, you know, celeb A. We do a deal with them. This is them right there. Their audience, typically, if we're doing like, you know, a celebrity deal in the States, is nationwide and even worldwide. The issue again for us is we're not nationwide. So if we do a deal with them, the rate that we're going to pay them is a lot lower than they're normally going to get, because we simply can't advertise to their entire audience. They might have a huge, you know, as a lot of celebrities have a huge base in, you know, California. We don't serve California, so if we spend, you know, if they normally get, let's say for the sake of math, this celebrity gets, you know, $500K per like big brand deal, whatever, and half their audience or a good portion is in California, like we cannot pay $500,000 for that because it simply just won't work for us. So that's been a big bottleneck, you know, as we scale right now, because we want to do these bigger celebrity partnerships, which will help us grow like a lot of other brands are doing. But it's challenging again because we're not nationwide. So the question becomes, you know, what do we do? So we have a strategy that I think is pretty unique that kind of takes both of these things and makes it work in our favor. So what we usually do is, typically when you work with influencers and celebrities and stuff like that, at least like the bigger ones, like that you have like A tier, you can have B tier, C tier, whatever. You're paying them for like a whole entire marketing campaign. And that campaign is typically like, you know, social in-feed posts on their actual Instagram grid, and takes up the real estate on their page. And usually with celebrities and influencers, like that's what they're charging the most for. Hey, if you want to post, you know, on my grid to my millions of followers, like that's going to cost you a lot of money. For us, that doesn't work because for one, we're bootstrapped. We just don't have a ton of money to spend on that. And two, it doesn't really matter anyways because we're not nationwide. So we're going to be hitting people that can't actually buy our product. So there's a lot of wasted marketing spend. So what we do and what our strategy is a big part of this is a whole idea of whitelisting slash, now it's partnership ads. Partnership ads. This is typically part of a structure when you do influencer deals. Usually it's like, in-feed posts and, showing up to different events and then like also allowing, the account to actually do whitelisting and partnership ads for it. If you guys don't know what whitelisting partnership ads are, all it is if you see like sponsored posts where it's like, example, like Nutre meal plans and Payton Pritchard or Nutre meal plans and whoever, that's a partnership ad. So we're paying money to boost a certain post. All it is a fancy way of saying like you're running an ad or a certain piece of content collaborated and we're spending ad dollars behind it to push that out to a bigger audience. We do this with all of our deals. Every single influencer deal has whitelisting baked into it because the reason for us and why whitelisting works so well is one, just in general, whitelisting is great because that's where you're gonna see a ton of ROI and just the psychology behind this is if you run an ad from like your brand's page, like for example, we run an ad through Nutre Meals, it doesn't do as well as if we run an ad through a different influencer's brand because of course Nutre Meals is going to say like, hey, our product's great, blah, blah, blah. The whole reason why influencer marketing works in the first place is you're leveraging third-party credibility. So if I say I'm the greatest ever, you'll be like, of course Kosta's going to say he's the greatest ever and he has whatever he's selling is the best ever because that's my product. But if all of a sudden influencer A, B, C, and all these celebrities say it, that's like, okay, great. These people say, okay, it must be good. That's what really influencer marketing is at the end of the day. You're just paying for other people's social proof and leveraging their brand to promote you versus you promoting yourself, which of course you're gonna say you're the best. So that's why we do whitelisting and partnership ads in general. Those ads typically convert a lot better and our CAC to acquire, our cost to acquire a customer goes down when we run ads through third-party channels. And the way that, again, back to this whole whitelisting and this nationwide thing, why whitelisting works so well, we spend a ton of money on meta ads. And the beauty of meta ads is if we do these whitelisting ads, we can set the targets of those ads to only show up in the states that we actually deliver meals to. Because again, if we go nationwide, we can't cover California, we can't cover Washington, whatever it is. So if they did, again, a post on their feed, that post goes out, we can't hit them. But if we take a piece of content and we run it as an ad and only target the areas that we serve, it works out a lot better for us. We're not losing out in the advertising areas we don't serve because if we did, our cost to acquire a customer would be through the roof because you have a bunch of ads running in California, but a bunch of people can't buy in California. So why this works so well for us too, back to this whole idea of this now bootstrapped, is this, if the way that we structure deals and the way that this works so well for us is I'm gonna give an exact example. Like we did an ad, a partnership with Payton Pritchard. He's a Celtics player, if you guys don't know who Payton Pritchard is. He's awesome. The deal we did for him in the way that we were able to afford doing a deal with a Payton Pritchard who's like, it costs a lot of money to do deals with Payton Pritchard and do collabs with him. The way that we were able to get it for a price that makes sense for us is instead of going to Payton Pritchard and being like, hey, like, listen, man, we want to do like a full campaign with you on your socials, everything like that. That's gonna cost like multiple six figures probably. Instead, we said to him, hey, let's just do whitelisting and partnership ads. So what we're gonna do is like, we're gonna come out to you, we're gonna do a shoot, we'll handle the content. Some of his team was there as well. We'll shoot a bunch of content, and then instead of you posting this on your actual, IG feed, instead of doing that, all we're gonna do is take that content and we're gonna run it as ads and we're gonna put our own money behind that to boost that content. And again, going back to that nationwide thing, we're only boosting that content in the East Coast and the areas that we serve Texas to, but the areas that we service only. So we're not wasting that spend on showing, that audience to the entire country. But, Payton Pritchard is somebody that his audience, of course, is like mainly in Boston. That's where he's always a Boston Celtics player. That's where a lot of his attention and the eyeballs come from. But still, nevertheless, we don't want to be advertising in different areas. So by doing this method, this partnership whitelisting ad strategy, we're able to get Payton Pritchard for a way, way lower rate and do these deals with way more athletes and celebrities as a whole. So going forward, we've already kind of done this with different people, not just celebrities and influencers. Anytime there's been like an influencer we want to do a deal with and they're like, hey, listen, like for my post, it's going to be like 25, 30, 50, sometimes like 50, 100K for a single post. We're like, okay, don't post. All we want to do is do this. So it's the same thing. You're getting pretty much the same content, but they're just not posting it to their feed. And it works out better for us, again, because we can boost it in the areas that we actually serve. So this is essentially a cheat code in a way that we've been able to scale Nutre and that we're going to go going forward by running this playbook. And it's different than a lot of the brands that you like follow on YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. That's why it's hard for being, one, a meal delivery brand, and two, being a brand that's geo-locked. Like most brands that you launch supplements or your t-shirts, you ship nationwide. You're just running ads to the entire country. You can do deals with celebrities and influencers. It doesn't matter because you can service all of them. For us, we have to be a little bit more strategic with the way that we think and make sure our dollars actually get spent well. So if you're a brand that's actually geo-locked, this is a way to actually, this whole whitelisting partnership model is a way that you can actually get the most amount of, use your marketing dollars most effectively. And two, if you're a brand that just is bootstrapped or doesn't have a ton of money to spend, and instead of doing these full-on brand collabs, pay for post, in-feed, etc., do a deal that's whitelisting and partnership ads only. The pitch is super simple. It's you just go to that person and say, no problem, we don't want to post to your feed. We just want to do an entire content shoot with you. We'll come to you, we'll pay for the shoot, we'll take that content, we'll edit all that content, and we're just going to run this as whitelisting ads, and we're going to pay you a monthly fee, whatever it is. Usually it's like a longer term contract, but you can split it up into monthly payments. So this is the way that we think about influencer marketing. We're still going to do some in-feed stuff with certain people that make sense if they have like an audience that's very, East Coast based or Florida based or Massachusetts based, where like most people like know about them in that area. But this is how we're able to get, the eyeballs and people to be like, oh, you just did a deal. The amount of people that were like, hey, you just did a deal with Payton Pritchard, that's crazy. Or you just did a deal with XYZ, that's crazy. Like, oh my God, people think our brand is huge, which we are. We're not a small brand. We're like a good sized brand. We're growing. But this is a way that we can attract also more talent and just more credibility. Talent, I mean, on that side is now that you do a deal with Payton Pritchard, the amount of people that have reached out to me, different agents and different people at different companies being like, hey, we just saw your stuff with Payton Pritchard. Now we want to do a deal with you. It makes us just seem more credible and attracts more eyeballs. It's kind of like that whole idea of like your network is your net worth, and like who you associate with and like the people that you know get you farther, because if like you're associated with certain people that have essentially high status, you're assumed to be high status because you're in that same circle. So all of this at the end of the day really goes down to psychology. And I've talked about before, if you guys follow me, psychology is really everything when it comes to marketing. Marketing tactics are great and stuff like that, but all this is human behavior. I haven't I'm not the best at like taking my processes and like systematizing, because that's not really how I work. I am systems based, but I'm more creative based. But like just seeing this, I just know that, okay, and the reason why I've been so successful with marketing and being a CMO is I get the strategies and the tactics, which is part of marketing. But if you just know psychology and human behavior, the tactics and the stuff are pretty easy to learn. This is the hard part to understand. And the psychology goes back to this whole idea I was talking to here before about the talent. Now they're doing deals with these people, you attract other people that want to do it. And then just influencer marketing as a whole is all about just leveraging other people's credibility. That's why you see a lot of brands popping up. They partner with celebrities and creators from the beginning, because it's like, Logan Paul, Prime Energy, like that's just like the cookie cutter textbook example of doing a creator deal. You're just leveraging their credibility and you can scale a lot faster. Raw Nutrition with Chris Bumstead, the reason why they were to scale so fast from the beginning is because they leveraged Chris's credibility, gave him equity, which were one of the first people to actually give a celebrity equity in their celebrity influencer, whatever you want to call Chris Bumstead, give him equity, and all of a sudden you're kind of just fast tracking your way to success, because like they already have an audience that wants to buy what they sell, and you work out a deal with them, and it works for both parties. You'll see a lot more of that. It's kind of changing, but I think again they crush it with the whole entire equity mindset of their stuff. So I think going forward you can see a lot more deals with different celebrities and influencers doing equity deals. Taste Flavor, who's actually a partner of us, like one of the top brands on TikTok Shop with Joey Swole. Shout out Jason too. They have like one of the top sauces that we just did a deal with Nutre, like as a compliment to our food. They're blowing up on TikTok. They're just selling like healthier sauces, and they're delicious. Like I've tried, I've had the barbecue one. It's awesome, but they're absolutely blowing up. They're running also a similar playbook that I'm going to do in another video, talking about like creator armies and like the Hudson method stuff that we're doing. I think I've mentioned in a vlog before, and I'm going to be breaking down how we are thinking about building our own creator army, because again, it's different. We're not on TikTok. We're not nationwide, so it's harder for us to run that playbook, but we can still run similar stuff given that we're bootstrapped and not nationwide. So I'm gonna do my best to give you guys as much sauce as possible without revealing like every little back end stuff that we do, because our competitors could be watching this. So if you're watching this and you're a competitor, you better watch out. I'm not going to be giving you everything, but like, we're coming for you. By the time you see this video, it's probably too late. We're already doing this stuff. So I'm not really worried about that. I was listening to Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank talk about this. He was on Tommy Mello's podcast, and it was like, Tommy was like, saying that people are like, whoa, you're giving all this information out for free. Like, people are going to take it and steal it. And Kevin O'Leary is like, people have been saying that to me for years. Like, but I've given out all the information I know, because at the end of the day, you can teach somebody, tell somebody what they do. Like, what's the saying? Horse to fetch water. Like, you can teach whatever. You can tell somebody the exact blueprint to run this influencer marketing, this whitelisting deal stuff. But if they're not actually going to go out there, do the work, reach out to people, pay for people, have a team to actually do this, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So, I'm not really too worried about that. And to me, it's like, I want to get back and show people that are kind of on the journey, like how to think about stuff. Because I'm not a huge person of believing. I think there is competition out there, and competitors could take some stuff or get inspiration, whatever. But I feel as though that we just executed at a way higher level, and just like, Liam Neeson and Taken, I'm just like, good luck, go do it. If you want to try to do it, like, you can, but everybody knows how to do kind of everything. Everybody knows how to lose weight. Everybody knows how to, have a better relationship. Everybody knows, most stuff of how to do it. But the thing is, it's simple, but not easy. All this stuff it sounds simple, but it's not easy when you put into practice and have to negotiate deals and take out money and build out systems and build out a team to actually influence this. And at scale, you keep doing more, it breaks. You actually have to have skills to do that. So hopefully this was a great breakdown for this video. Again, I'm gonna be doing more whitelisting content, whiteboard content going forward. Yeah.